Hi, everyone. My name is Pi-Chuan. I'm a software engineer at Google, and my mentee this year is Miya, sixth grade. So there are a few things that I really enjoy working with Miya. There's a few things that are particularly interesting and different for me. I've been mentoring for Magic for 9, 10 years now, from the beginning. So, yeah, and I mentored at GMS for many times. So working with Miya is very curious. So like when we discuss what to work on, and we will talk about different things. Sometimes we watch YouTube video together, and she has a lot of interesting ideas. And then she's very smart, picks up things really quickly. I remember there was one week I was remote, so I have to talk to her on the phone. I was trying to explain to her like this binary representation thing. And I was thinking, how can she possibly understand what this is? But she was actually at the end was able to understand what I was talking about. So that's really impressive. And then the last thing is actually one of the most impressive things. She's very organized. I think she's probably the only mentee over the years that actually remember to send me reminders beforehand and actually tell me like, hey, this is a topic that we want to talk about this time. And she's been doing a very good job of that for that. So here I introduce you, Miya.
Hi, my name is Miya. I am in sixth grade, and today I will be talking about my project with the finch. So my mentor is Pi-Chuan, who you just met. She is currently a software engineer at Google, and she works on genomics and deep learning there. For undergrad, she went to National Taiwan University, and she went to Stanford for a PhD in computer science. Her hobbies include hiking, walking the dog, and singing and dancing. So this is the finch robot, and as I just said, our topic was exploring the finch through Scratch, and I learned the finch has many different parts shown at the right, and I have used every one of these sensors. So I worked on a variety of projects, and I made a traffic light, which changes from green to yellow and red, and of course in order, and they last for different numbers of seconds. And I also made a game controller, which will be shown at my table, and it's like using the finch's obstacle sensors to move the paddle to get the yellow ball and avoid the blue ball. And then I will do an alarm for you demo in the demo slide. I also did like a Thug Life project, which uses finch orientations and obstacle sensors to control sprites. I also used the finch symmetrical, which makes the sprite in Scratch move the same way as the finch, and the dog also drew what they were both doing. And I also did Do Re Mi in Scratch, which is the finch just sings Do Re Mi. And I also used this thing called New Drive, which was my first project, and I used the arrow keys to make it go forward, go back, and left and right. Our main project at first was the maze, and we would build a maze out of tape, and then we'd program the finch robot to get through the maze, but we would have to make it go at like X speed for Y seconds, because it doesn't just move to one place. And they also had to make it like turn for this amount of seconds, and then we converted it into degrees because it was a lot easier to work with. Some of the struggles we faced include making the dog symmetrical to the finch, because many of you may know, but as the dog in Scratch moves, it just automatically moves. But where the finch, it takes time to move, so you have to like kind of control that and make sure the dog doesn't move before the finch does. And then even going straight was really hard. It would kind of angle off into a different direction, so you would have to kind of move that. And then we also, the game controller. I think I talked about that. I learned so many things, and a couple of things I learned are things don't always work as expected, and I also learned how to deal with things like that. I learned computer shortcuts like commands and the history of computers by watching many YouTube videos. And I learned many things about Finch and Scratch, and I also watched videos on general robotics. Things we did, or we went on a field trip to Google. I learned that Google was amazing, but it also made me think about what it's like to be a female in the tech industry. I enjoyed this experience, and I learned a lot and realized so many things. So right now I will show you a demo, which is an alarm clock game. So I will tell the computer to wait 4 seconds, and I will tell the Finch to move around in many different randomly, and it'll start like buzzing, and then you have to run and catch it, kind of. So it'll definitely wake you up. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna make it wait for 4 seconds. And then you just put it on a